To all of my patrons and spooks and spookettes that have supported me through the transitional period of moving out of Hollywood back to Tennesseevania, thank you so much. I wanted to do something a little special for you all. I'm going to do a dramatic reading of my favorite poem of all time, The Cremation of Sam McGee by Robert W. Service. I actually did take a trip to the Yukon in Canada over the summer, and I actually went to Whitehorse, which is the territorial capital of Yukon, where Robert W. Service actually wrote the poem. I went to McBride Museum in downtown Whitehorse, where they actually have on display the real-life cabin of Sam McGee. Of course, Sam McGee was neither from Tennessee, nor was he actually cremated. As a matter of fact, he was a lifelong Canadian, and he lived to be a pretty old man for the time that he lived in and, being a human. But he was a gold miner during the 1898 gold rush in the Klondike region. And Robert W. Service actually met Sam McGee while working at the bank branch that he was assigned to in Whitehorse. He loved the name Sam McGee so much that he devised a writing scheme for his poem, and he also took real-life inspiration from the story of a prospector who froze to death from Oklahoma in the Klondike region, who had to be cremated to the point where he was mushy and they could remold him to fit his casket properly. So here it is, The Cremation of Sam McGee by Robert W. Service. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The Northern Lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was the night on the marge of Lake LaBarge I cremated Sam McGee. Now Sam McGee was from Tennessee, where the cotton blooms and blows. Why he left his home in the South to roam around the pole, God only knows. He was always cold, but the land of gold seemed to hold him like a spell, though he'd often say in his homely way he'd sooner live in hell. On a Christmas day we were mushing our way over the Dawson Trail. Talk of your cold through the parka's fold, it stabbed like a driven nail. If our eyes we'd close, then the lashes froze, till sometimes we couldn't see. It wasn't much fun, but the only one to whimper was Sam McGee. And that very night, as we lay packed tight in our robes beneath the snow, and the dogs were led, and the stars overhead were dancing heel and toe, he turned to me and, "Cap," says he, "I'll cash in this trip, I guess. And if I do, I'm asking that you won't refuse my last request." Well, he seemed so low that I couldn't say no, and he said with a sort of moan, "'Tis the cursed cold, and it's got right hold till I'm chilled through to the bone. Yet 'tain't being dead, it's my awful dread of the icy grave that pains. So I want you to swear that foul or fair that you'll cremate my last remains." A pal's last need is a thing to heed, so I swore I would not fail. And we started on at the streak of dawn, but God, he looked ghastly pale. He crouched on the sleigh and he raved all day about his home in Tennessee. And before nightfall, a corpse was all that was left of Sam McGee. There wasn't a breath in that land of death, and I hurried horror-driven, with a corpse half hid that I couldn't get rid because of a promise given. It was lashed to the sleigh, and it seemed to say, "You may tax your brain and brawn, but you promised true, and it's up to you to cremate those last remains." Now a promise made is a debt unpaid, and the trail has its own stern code. In the days to come, though my lips were dumb, in my heart how I cursed that load. In the long, long night by the lone firelight, with the huskies round in a ring, howled out their woes to the homeless snows. Oh God, how I loathed the thing. And every day that quiet clay seemed to heavy and heavier grow, and on I went, though the dogs were spent and the grub was getting low. The trail was bad, and I felt half mad, but I swore I would not give in, and I'd often sing to the hateful thing, and it hearkened with a grin. Till I came to the marge of Lake LaBarge, and a derelict there lay. It was jammed in the ice, but I saw in a trice it was called the Alice May. And I looked at it, and I thought of it, and I looked at my frozen chum. "Then here," said I with a sudden cry, "is my crematorium." Some coal I found that was lying around, and I heaped the fuel higher. The flames just soared, and the flames roared, such a blaze you seldom see. And I burrowed a hole in the glowing coal, and I stuffed in Sam McGee. Then I made a hike, for I did not like to hear him sizzle so, and the heavens scowled, and the huskies howled, and the wind began to blow, and the greasy smoke in an inkly cloak went streaking across the sky. I do not know how long in the snow I wrestled with grisly fear, but the stars came out and they danced about, and ere again I ventured near. I was so sick with dread, but I bravely said, I'll just take a peep inside. I guess he's cooked, and it's time I looked. The door I opened wide, and there sat Sam, looking cool and calm in the heart of the furnace roar. And he wore a smile you could see a mile, and he said, Please close the door. It's fine in here, but I greatly fear you'll let in the cold and storm. Since I left Plum Tree down in Tennessee, it's the first time I've been warm. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails have seen their tales that would make your blood run cold. The Northern Lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was the night on the marge of Lake LaBarge that I cremated Sam McGee. Thank you for listening, Spooks and Spookettes. I hope you enjoyed that, and let me know if you want to see more of these. Until then, as far as things go, when things go bump in the night, there are such things.